What if the secret to sustainable eating was hidden inside a tree? The sago worm, a creamy white larvae found within the trunks of sago palms, offers a fascinating glimpse into the world of unconventional cuisine. While it may seem unusual to some, these nutrient-rich worms have been a vital food source for centuries in Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands. Join me and explore their unique flavor and high-protein content. The sago worm is the larval stage of the red palm weevil, a species that thrives in the heart of sago palm trees, Metroxylon sagu. These trees are abundant in tropical areas of Southeast Asia, where the climate is warm and humid, ideal conditions for both the palm trees and the weevils. Sago palms are primarily known for producing the starchy substance known as sago, which is a staple food in many parts of Southeast Asia. The larvae, which grow inside the trunks of these palm trees, feed on the palm's soft, nutritious core. As the palm trees age, the sago worm matures, eventually breaking through the trunk and becoming a food source for humans, wildlife, and even other insects. Historically, the sago worm's existence has been closely tied to the agricultural practices of the region. The cultivation of sago palms dates back thousands of years, and with it, the natural growth of the red palm weevil larvae. Indigenous communities living in areas rich in sago palms discovered early on that these larvae were not only abundant but also edible, nutritious, and versatile in cooking. The sago worm has long been an essential part of the diet for many indigenous groups in the Southeast Asian and Pacific regions. Its consumption is deeply ingrained in cultural traditions and practices. For example, in Papua New Guinea, the larvae are often collected by traditional methods, where people use tools such as knives or machetes to extract the worms from the trunks of fallen sago palms. In these communities, sago worms are considered a delicacy, commonly served either raw, roasted, grilled, or fried. The worms are prized for their rich, buttery flavor and high-fat content, making them a vital source of protein, particularly in remote areas where other sources of nutrition are scarce. In the Philippines, the sago worm is also known as bugok and is often prepared by grilling or frying. The larvae are sometimes served on skewers as street food or as part of a more elaborate feast. The practice of consuming sago worms in the Philippines is not only limited to rural communities but also enjoyed by urban dwellers seeking a taste of traditional cuisine. In fact, the larvae have gained popularity in modern Filipino culinary culture, finding their way into more diverse dishes and street food markets. One of the most intriguing aspects of the sago worm's role in indigenous societies is its ceremonial significance. In certain Pacific Island cultures, the larvae are considered a symbol of strength and vitality. They are often featured in rituals and celebrations, where their consumption is seen as a rite of passage for young men. The act of eating sago worms, sometimes accompanied by dance and music, is a way for communities to honor their connection to nature and the local environment. Sago worms are highly regarded for their nutritional value. They are rich in fat, protein, and other essential nutrients that are important for sustaining energy in regions where food sources can be limited. These larvae provide a high-calorie intake, which is particularly beneficial for individuals living in rural or remote areas of Southeast Asia. In many ways, the sago worm has served as a reliable source of sustenance for generations of indigenous people, helping them thrive in areas where other protein sources may be scarce. The sago worm's high-fat content, especially its rich concentration of monounsaturated fat, contributes to its distinct, creamy texture. When cooked, particularly through grilling or roasting, the larvae develop a nutty, smoky flavor that many describe as similar to that of roasted nuts or rich, creamy cheese. In some places, the sago worm is even consumed raw, with some enthusiasts claiming that its natural, earthy taste is best appreciated without any cooking at all. In modern culinary contexts, sago worms are becoming increasingly popular among adventurous eaters and food tourists. Some chefs are experimenting with the larvae, incorporating them into gourmet dishes. In high-end restaurants, they may be served as an exotic ingredient in salads, sushi, or as a topping for savory delicacies. Their unique texture and rich flavor make them an intriguing addition to fusion cuisines, further cementing the sago worm's place in both traditional and contemporary culinary landscapes. Despite the sago worm's deep historical and cultural roots, its population has been impacted by several factors over the past few decades. Deforestation, climate change, and the overharvesting of sago palms have all contributed to a decline in the availability of sago worms. As urbanization has increased in Southeast Asia, the forests where sago palms traditionally grow are being cleared to make way for agricultural and infrastructure development. This has resulted in fewer sago palms, which in turn means fewer habitats for the red palm weevil larvae. Additionally, the overharvesting of sago palms for their starchy core to produce sago flour has further diminished the supply of sago worms. In some areas, excessive collection of the larvae has led to the depletion of local populations, making it more difficult for communities to rely on the worms as a regular food source. In some places, sago worm collection has become unsustainable, with larvae being harvested faster than they can reproduce, thus threatening the long-term viability of this important food source. Efforts are being made to address these sustainability issues. Conservation programs are working to protect the remaining sago palm forests, and some communities are developing sustainable harvesting practices. For example, some villages in Papua New Guinea have implemented regulations to limit the number of sago palms that can be cut down in a year, ensuring that the palm trees are allowed to regenerate and provide habitats for the red palm weevil larvae. Additionally, alternative farming practices are being explored to reduce the impact of agriculture on the local ecosystems, including techniques that minimize deforestation. The sago worm, once considered a humble and locally enjoyed food, is gaining recognition in the global food scene. As the world becomes more interconnected, food trends are increasingly driven by exploration and curiosity. The rise of exotic food experiences, including edible insects, has contributed to the sago worm's emergence in international markets. Sago worms have been featured in documentaries, food shows, and even as novelty items at international food festivals. This global exposure has sparked a renewed interest in consuming sago worms, both as a cultural curiosity and as a sustainable source of protein. In Western countries, where insect-based foods are still a niche market, the sago worm is being presented as an environmentally friendly and nutritious alternative to traditional animal protein sources. As the world grapples with issues such as climate change and the sustainability of food production, edible insects like the sago worm are being promoted as a viable solution to feed the growing global population. With their low environmental impact, ease of production, and high nutritional value, sago worms may become a more common feature in the global food industry in the years to come. Thanks for joining us as we explore the amazing history of sago worms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the love. If you want more delicacies like this, let us know in the comments. Stay tuned for more delicious dishes. Until next time.